Some breaking news in the case against disgraced crypto founder Sam Bankman-Fried. He was just released on $250 million bond. New video showing Bankman-Fried right there leaving court just moments ago. He made his initial court appearance in the U.S. today to face those fraud charges for the collapse of his company FTX. He was accused of stealing billions of dollars from his customers and investors.
Man, let's get back to that breaking news. Sam Bankman-Fried's $250 million bail bond has been approved by a judge in New York. Joining us now is Bloomberg's Hannah Miller with more. Hannah, what do we know so far?
Yeah, this is just in. So a judge has said that Sam Bankman-Fried can post a $250 million bond and he can live in his parents' home in California. So this is a big deal for Bankman-Fried. This possibility of getting bail, that was a huge reason for him to waive his right to fight extradition to the U.S. when he was in the Bahamas.
And his parents both stand in the courtroom, Hannah, and it looks like they are putting up equity in their home to at least satisfy part of the bail conditions. Bankman-Fried had previously claimed he was down to $100,000. The judge seems to have implied that from the court's perspective, Sam Bankman-Fried presents no danger to the public in terms of future financial crimes. As he is awaiting more details on the actual trial itself, what more do we know about how this process might play out?
Yeah.
It's sinking, and immigrants can't work in this country, despite, we have to change that policy to get them in here and working. Again, we're a million short. You read that all over the place. So I think there's those sort of things, and that they're worried about it. All these feds are worried about it at the same time. I hate when I have coordinated tightening. I mean, we have coordinated tightening, and then I have coordinated tightening from now. The Japan's not saying they're going to do more, but I got 3 other central banks telling me they're going to do more. Coordinated tightening doing more. QT at a pretty swift pace of 95 billion. I got my millions and billions starting in January. The ECB QT, the BOE QT. I don't know. I'm a simple guy, Joe. I'm not that smart, but I kind of listen to those.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, the Bankman is free. And I told you that he was coming to the United States, so therefore he could get his walking papers. And not only is he getting his walking papers, remember guys, he was in New York. They allowed him not only bail, but to fly to California. And we know another big distraction is going to come up, where everybody's going to be forgetting about the Bankman. And we have David Tepper on CNBC letting you know you better be listening to the Fed. And of course, guys, this is a hedge fund guy. And we all know the central banks are moving in lockstep, raising rates, running off the balance sheet. And we know the reason why. But the masses are asleep. They're going to destroy this legacy market in order to bring in the robots, algorithms, and drones. And right now on Twitter, the automated McDonald's video is circulating. And I had that video saved right along with all the automation that's going to be pushing through, along with the Taco Bell one also, which is even crazier. But I put that video out tonight. Make sure you watch it. But guys, we know the NWO moves in phases. So the fact is, they're going to show you all this information, and then they're going to pull it back. 6 months to a year, you don't see anything. We know they pick certain locations in order to test the technology. We know driverless cars, some states are already used to seeing it. Some states have never seen it. And the same thing goes with all this automation. A lot of states are going to see it. They're not even going to pay any mind to it because they're going to get so used to it. And that gives the NWO time to adjust things that they need to in order to bring it on to the masses. Guys, this technology was already available when the C word came. That was not by chance. Zoom is over 10 years old. It was already ready. And the same thing goes with all this automation. You know, all these videos I've showed, these videos, a lot of them are 8 to 10 years old. So the NWO causes the problem. Wait for the reaction and run in with the solution. And all we need is one more crisis. So therefore they can bring in the robots, algorithms, and drones. They're going to pay each other with crypto, and the sheep are going inside the metaverse getting universal basic income. But little do they know, stablecoins, CBDCs, are going to tell you what, where, and when and how to buy. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Is it going to be a happy new year? With what we saw in the last year, couldn't be, I don't know whether we characterize it as happy. Family issues matter, obviously, but 40-year highs in inflation, the Fed in a tightening phase like we haven't seen, and a bear market. Similar for next year, do you think?
Similar in that we'll have this big of a decline? Is that what you're saying?
Similar that will it be a tightening year for the Fed? Will inflation be on all of our radar screens for the foreseeable future?
Well, talk about things one at a time. Inflation, goods inflation is coming down. You see it, every day. I think that the Fed expects that, and it's kind of in forecast, and people are getting excited because of that. On the other hand, you have a dislocation, a structural change in the labor markets where you have labor shortages and potential cost push inflation for as far as the eye can see. So I think once we get down to a certain level of inflation, whatever that level is, it's going to be very stubborn, and the Fed kind of knows that. And because of that, this Fed and the ECB and the BOE, and as we saw, was it yesterday, the day before yesterday? I get my days in Japan mixed up sometimes. The BOE actually have tightened, and the ECB and the Fed have and the BOE have signaled future tightenings. So yeah, we're going to have a lot more tightenings. Joe, as I told you once before, 10 years ago, sometimes they just tell you what they're going to do, and you got to believe them. I kind of believe them.
And it's global, for that matter. So we can always.
Yeah. You have the Fed. It's at, it's 4.25, I guess 4.32 or something like that this morning. They put out their forecast, probably reaches a peak of 5.25 sometime this year. And they're going to keep rates high for a while. I mean, that's what their forecasts say. If you believe there's this underlying inflation rate, sort of labor-based inflation rate, that makes a lot of sense. It also makes a lot of sense to the ECB and BOE and all the rest of those central banks. And I think they all kind of see that and not want to see it kind of get out of control. If you look at the, the ECB last week on, the Fed came out, and the Fed he wasn't easy, but he kind of projects like a teddy bear. You want to cuddle him when he speaks. And so the market kind of cuddles him. Even though he's a bear, he's like kind of a soft little fuzzy bear. And then you have ECB comes the next day, and she's like a grizzly bear. She's growling. And she comes out, and she says directly, listen, we're doing 50 now. We're definitely doing 50 again. Next meeting we have, I guess it's on February 3rd. And then we're going to do another 50. And then we're likely to do another one after that. We'll see how the data goes. She's basically telling me she's going to go to 3 or 350 over there in Europe. They're starting QT in Europe. They have QT going in the beginning of January here. The BOE is doing QT. I don't know. I got everybody tightening and telling me they're going to tighten more and QT, and I got markets that just don't believe it. I mean, I got a German 2-year at 252. When they'll be able to make money putting in the bank if she goes to 350 by April 14th. So I can't like bonds that much, particularly in Europe. I can't love the 2-year here, which is trading at 420. When they're going to tell me they're going to go higher and stay high, how do I like that stuff? And when I don't like it, the short end of the curve, and I don't know how it feeds into the longer end of the curve at some point. I mean, it makes it kind of a very tough competition for other assets.
Yeah,
that's what they're telling you. I don't tell you that. That's what they're telling you.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
Did you ever take an Evelyn Wood course? Good morning. Did you take an Evelyn Wood course, Senator? Have you read the 40? How do you know what's in there about Venmo and PayPal? Does anyone know what's in this?
So we just had this dumped on us a day and a half ago. I've been reading through it. My staff's been reading through it. It's more than 4,000 pages, Joe. What's not in there, though, is the fix that I've been working on for months, and that's to address this 1099K problem for people that use Venmo, PayPal for small transactions. We're talking anyone that has transactions that go north of $600. If this goes through without the amendment that I've been working on, we're going to see roughly 300 million 1099Ks issued by the PayPals and Venmos of this world. It's going to flood the IRS and put a huge burden on the American public. But as of today, this is being held hostage in a broader negotiation as Senator Schumer tries to cram this massive package through.
And that's what might be the prudent thing to do, but we've gotten used to this. We wait. Then everybody wants to go home for Christmas, and the American people are just going to be sitting by while Washington does this stuff that beats to its own drummer, to its own beat, it seems like.
Yeah, Joe, you're describing the Washington Kabuki Theater, and that's exactly what happened last night. We were supposed to vote on this and finish it up in the wee hours of this morning. They negotiated everything except they found out one thing. That is that there's actually bipartisan support to keep Title 42 in place. There's an amendment there that would have actually passed last night, and that would have been a huge problem for Chuck Schumer and the radical left. So what they're working on right now is another Washington trick that will create a process, if you will, that will allow those Democrats that do support Title 42 and maintaining some sense of order at the border, allow them to vote for that, actually allow them to vote for funding the border wall even, voting for more funds to protect our border. They'll be able to vote for that and then turn around and vote against it. So it will fail. And then we'll go right back to what you described, Joe. And again, I think this is sickening to the American public. They're tired of seeing this come out of Washington. But I think this is exactly what this morning is setting up for, and we'll probably be here into the night again. But that's my sense, is that we'll wind up in the situation that you just described. It will pass through having another signaling vote, but not of substance.
So how
we're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort, and China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, The fourth industrial revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.